Hello, how are you students? Welcome back in another session. This is Mr. Said, your chemistry teacher, and today we are going to talk about the binary acids, and secondly I'm gonna be speaking about how to name the molecular compounds and the covalent compounds. So let's get started. There are three sessions. First we will talk about the molecular compounds. Then secondly, the subsection is how to name the binary acids. And thirdly, how to name oxy acids. Alright, so let's get started. I hope you know how to name the ionic ionic compounds. So another session is about the covalent compounds. So here we go with that. And before I get started, the thing that you should know is, for example, you are given a compound that is MgCl2. And if you are given a compound or a molecule that is HCl2. So they look like same. Yes, MgCl2, HCl2, but they are not. Okay, how? Because the name of that compound is magnesium chloride, and secondly the name of that compound is sulfur dichloride. Now you might are thinking that why this is dichloride. We can simply say that sulfur chloride, as we said, magnesium chloride, but no. Why? The reason is that's your ionic compound, but the problem is, how do we know? Yes, you can see that this magnesium is your metal. So typically we can identify on base if there is one metal and non-metal. Okay, so Mg is your metal, chlorine is your non-metal, so that is pure identification that this is your ionic compound. So the rule is very simple: give name to the first element, and secondly add your suffix IDE, so it's going to be magnesium chloride. But in this case, sulfur is metal. What do you think? Yes, it's not metal, this is non-metal. Okay, non-metal, and chlorine is also non-metal, so it means that's not your ionic compounds. So if it's not your ionic compound, then the rule of naming is not same like the ionic compounds. There are some rules that I showed you here. I added there the prefix that's called di, right? Di means two, by the way, because there were two atoms of chlorine. So let's get started how to name this kind of compound. They are called molecular compounds, and here we are to name them, and it's very easy. For example, let's take a compound molecule that is CO. Okay, so the rule is, first of all you have to see how many atoms do you have. So meaning to say is how many atoms of carbon you have there. You have only one atom, right? And for oxygen also one atom. So it means if I want to add here subscript 1 it's okay, because they are showing there is one carbon, there is one oxygen, but normally we don't show one because it's understood. So how to name this? Because first of all you are sure that that's not your ionic compound because there is no metal. So the name is going to be carbon. First the name of the element, and how many atoms of second element you have. Oxygen, you have only one atom, so for one the prefix that we use is mono. So before I get started, you should know that mono is for one, right? And di is for two, like I showed you. Sulfur dichloride, di is for two, tri is for three, and tetra is for four, and penta is for 5, hexa for 6, hepta for 7, and octa for 8, and nona and deca, so on. So I think for your grade we will be talking about this tin hexa or maybe tin hepta. Okay, so no need to go next. So we are talking about the first element will be named as it is, like carbon, and the oxygen depends on how many atoms you have. We have only one atom, so for one is mono. So you will add there carbon mono, and oxygen will be suffix like IDE, means the ending letter will be, instead of oxygen I will write oxide. IDE call your suffix. So carbon monoxide. Oh, is already there, sorry. Carbon monoxide. Okay, similarly CO2, carbon, right? And how many atoms of oxygen we have? 2. So what is prefix that we use for them? This is called prefix, right? Prefix. 2 di. So I'm gonna write there carbon dioxide. Dioxide. Say carbon dioxygen, right? Carbon dioxide, because always you have to add the suffix that is called IDE at the end of each second element. So let's say you have here one more molecule, that is NO2. So first element name is same, nitrogen, and O2 means there are 2 atoms of oxygen di for 2, and oxygen is going to be changed into oxide. So nitrogen dioxide. Alright, I hope you are getting it, and you will get it, don't worry. Let me just write here one compound, that is N2O5. What do you think about that? Here, look at the difference between 1, 2, these 3 compounds and this one, 4 one. Difference is that here you were given the first element with one atom of carbon, one atom of carbon, one atom of the nitrogen, but over here 2 atoms of nitrogen. So you are not allowed to just write nitrogen. No, you have to mention there the prefix of, that's called for 2. So for 2 it's di, so you will write there dinitrogen, dinitrogen. Then 5 for oxygen. So for 5 the prefix is penta, so you will write pentoxide. Alright, so let's see one more, that is CCl4. Okay, here you can see, and the first element is carbon, second one is chlorine. So carbon is given only one atom, so no need to write monocarbon. Okay, the key point, first element if it's only one, no need to write mono. Second element if it's 1, 2, 3, whatever is that, you have to mention its prefix. So for the first element, if there's only one atom, no need to write. More than one, you have to mention as I did here. So for carbon, I'm not going to write monocarbon, I'll simply write carbon. And how many chlorines are there? Carbon. And for 4, the prefix is tetra, carbon tetra. And the element is chlorine, that is going to be chloride. Okay, carbon tetrachloride. So this is how you can give names to the molecular compounds. Now let me give you some compounds for your practice, and I hope you are able to answer that. And I'm going to keep that table right over here for your assistance. And let me give you, that is NF3. Pause the video for 20 seconds. Try to name it. Alright, so the answer is going to be, the first is nitrogen. I'm not going to write mono because it's first element, so it's going to be same nitrogen, fluorine, 3 atoms. For 3, what's the prefix? Tri, so it's going to be tri. Nitrogen, tri, this is fluorine, sorry, so it's going to be fluoride. Okay, nitrogen, trifluoride, and I'm going to give you one more question, that is P2O5. Can you name it? P2O5. P2O5, right? Pause the video for 10 seconds and you can name it. So P is phosphorus. So but there are 2 atoms of phosphorus. So right, diphosphorus. And 5 oxygen, so pentoxide. Why pentoxide? Because for 5 it's pen. Very good. Thank you very much. It means you got it. Now let's talk about the second point, that is your binary acids. How to name the binary acids? How to name the binary acid? By the way, if we don't know what is binary acid actually, so how you are going to name that? Alright, so let me just tell you what is binary acid. Binary acid is nothing but when you have a compound that is involved with one atom of hydrogen and another element. Like there can be only two elements, hydrogen and one another. Hydrogen is must to be there to be an binary acid. So for example, if I write here some compounds, can you find if they are binary or not? HCl, HF, and HBr, right? And HI, and if you have any other, you can find that, but maybe I have here one more, that is HCl. So these all are binary acid. How do I know? Because all of them, they have hydrogen in it, and secondly they have one more element other than hydrogen. For example, hydrogen, chlorine, only two elements. Hydrogen, fluorine, only two elements. Hydrogen, bromine, only two elements. Hydrogen and iodine, hydrogen and cyanide ion. So the rule to name them is very simple. What you have to do is, first you have to write the root word. Instead of hydrogen, you will mention hydro. Okay, for all of them, hydro. Then the second element name was chlorine. Alright, the chlorine, but we are going to mention a chloric, hydrochloric, chloric. Now what I did here, I just added here one suffix ic instead of ne. That was chlorine, but I added chloric. Okay, this is the rule to name all the binary acids. So the name is going to be hydrochloric acid. Okay, so what about that? Hydro fluorine, that means it's going to be fluorine, right? Hydrofluoric acid. Are you getting me? If you are getting me, type there yes. HBr, hydro, and Br, bromic acid. Okay, can you name it? HI, that's for you. If you can name it, type in the comment box. HCN, hydro cyanic. Cyanic means because this is cyanide ion, so hydrocyanic acid. So that's all about your binary acids, and I'm going to put it in a nutshell. That is, there are only two elements, not more than two. This is the main reason to be a binary acid. Binary means two. So HCl, HF, HBr, HI, HCN, all of them, they have only two elements. Thank you very much. Let's talk about the third point, that is oxyacids. Binary acid means they can have only two elements, and oxyacid, they will have the hydrogen is must, and secondly they will have the anion, that is oxyanion. Now what does it mean by oxyanion? Yes, oxyanion is an anion that contains oxygen in it. Alright, so first of all, what is ion or anion? Anion is a negative ion, and oxyanion is a negative ion that contains oxygen in it. For example, let me just write here some oxyanions. Oxy means from oxygen, anion means negative charge. So what do you think about this SO4 -2? Isn't it oxyanion? Yes, it is. Why? Because sulfur is there and oxygen. So I said that if there is a negative ion including oxygen in that is your oxyanion. So SO4 and NO3, NO2, right? And secondly, you will have there ClO2 and ClO3. Alright, these all are your oxyanides and many more, but we will talk about how to name them. These are oxyanide and how we can make them oxyacids, because our topic is oxyacid. So do one thing, that is just add with them hydrogen, so that's going to be H2SO4. If you will combine it, that's going to be HNO3, it's going to be HNO2, it's going to be HClO2 and HClO3. Right? How to name them? Very simple. What you have to do, just you have to see, you should know the name of your oxyanion that you are going to put in your acid. So for example, in this acid you put there chlorate, ClO3, chlorate. So the oxyanion name is chlorate. If you don't know how to name it, then you have to watch my video number 5. There I mentioned all the oxyanions. That is chlorate. Okay, so the rule is very simple. You have to just eliminate that suffix ate and replace it by ic. So that's going to be chloric and acid. Okay, ClO2, that is not chlorate, that is chloride, because there are two oxygens, so that is chloride, right? So I'm going to write there chloride, and what you have to do is replace that suffix with us, OUS, by the way. So it's going to be chlorous acid, right? So in a nutshell, the point is chlorate is going to be chloric, chloride is going to be chlorous. Okay, if there is ITE, that will be OUS. If there is ATE, that's going to be IC, chloric and chlorous. Now, can you name it? This is nitrate. So my question here is, ATE is going to be changed into what? OUS or IC? Mentioned in the comment box. So I'm going to do it for you, nitric, because this is ATE and the rule is if there is ATE, replace it by IC. So nitric acid, right? And HNO2, NO2 is nitrite. So IT is going to be changed into OUS. So the name is going to be nitrous acid. Right, so I'm very happy to see that we are done with these 3 points, 1, 2, 3 molecular compounds, binary acids and oxyacids, and these are some common ones that that you can be asked in your exams or in your messages. So if you have any question about that point, about that topic, you can ask me in the comment box. Thank you very much for watching it. Take care.